Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Ali Elbanna. Second and brothers in my family of 8, 2 sisters, 6 brothers. We were fortunate. We came from a humble background. We born in Lebanon as a Palestinian refugees. And me and Ali and my other brothers and sisters were very close. And just to talk about Ali, he is very kind, hard, warm.
Excuse me, sir. I'm so sorry I have to do this. Everybody, please put your phone on silent. All right, you got it? Thank you. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. And you know, we came from a humble background. In Lebanon, if anybody know how Palestinians get treated, a lot worse than black get treated in the 60s here. When we came back to this country, when we immigrated, which is June 8th, me and him will be our 40th year's anniversary. We didn't decide to buy guns or sell drugs or do stuff. We remember where we come from. We work really hard, especially Ali. And one thing about Ali, he was humble. When he succeeded in life, he tried to help others. He didn't look at color, religion, sex, or anything. That's what he did. And it's kind of sick and funny when I was in the juvenile trial to see about how certain person have a rough life. You want to see a rough life? Get an education and you can't work because you were Palestinian in Lebanon. When you can't vote in Lebanon and you're born and raised in that country, that's a rough life. When you can't do nothing because what we are as a Palestinian in Lebanon. But we didn't come here, oh, we in America, we're gonna rob, steal, and kill people. So I thank the judge, I thank the DA, everybody about the job they did for the best they did. But as a Muslim, it's said an eye and an eye, an aynu fil ayn, like the Bible said, an eye for an eye. You know, so I know he's gonna get 60 years in jail, but I'm looking at him now and the other gentlemen, not a gentleman, I could call them animals. You know what? When a pure puppy bites somebody in the street by mistake, you put them to sleep. These guys sitting here is like nothing. They looking at me like I'm nobody. You killed my brother and you don't show no remorse. The difference between you and animals, these animals are nice animals. You some kind of species should be exterminated from this life. That's what you are. As far as I concern you, I hope every day you spend in jail, you remember his face and enjoy the last supper you have out of jail at Subway. Because what you did, ain't no human being could do it. And I don't want to hear about a rough life. You want to hear a rough life? Go about the Palestinian suffering in Lebanon and all over the world. When we get an opportunity, we jump on it. We don't try to kill people. That's what Ali did. And you know what shocked me in his funeral? I have people from churches coming to me, telling me what he did in COVID. He was going in COVID and he got COVID because he was helping people delivering food to their house. And he put it on their door and run because he didn't want to embarrass them to help them. Meanwhile, you were out, shot my brother and killed him. 40 minutes before that, mugged a young, no lady my age, older lady, because I'm old now, and beat the crap out of 2 young innocent women at the bus stop. I don't think you have a word in this in Google. You don't have a word about the kind of, not a human being, the it you are. You're not even an animal. An animal, you could train them. You cannot be trained, you know? People It's sickening to look at you and you're looking at me, staring at me. You don't even show remorse. That's the kind of coward you are. That's the kind of scumbag you are. I got nothing to say to you because you're not worth my time. Thank you, everybody.
Judge, Ms. Stephanie Elbanna.
Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, my name is Stephanie Elbanna. I am one of the daughters of the victim. I'm here now reading a statement from another of my father's brothers named Hashim. The happiness of our lives depends on the quality of our family life. My older brother Ali, who brought sunshine to our lives and family, is no longer with us. Every morning when I wake up, I have to remind myself that life is no longer the same. My idol, my father, my beloved brother, is no longer around in our life. My youngest son, Ali, never met his uncle. You all took our family joy. We will never recover from the crimes as a family. We really hope that what happened with our family will never happen again with another. These criminals need to be jailed for as long as they live. Life is meaningless to them, so it's best for the world and them to spend it behind bars in prison. My beloved brother Ali Elbanna lives in our hearts forever. We hope and trust to meet him again in heaven. Until then, we only have memories of happiness. My dear Ali has gone to heaven. Endless love to my brother and his soul until we all meet again.
Thank you.
The Honor, Mr. Hassan Elbanna.
Hi, my name is Hassan Elbanna. I'm the brother of Ali Elbanna. All what I have to say is, like my brother, we came from a very hard background. We lived a very tough life in Lebanon. Like even if you graduated with any kind of degree, like a doctor, you cannot practice medicine in Lebanon. If you graduated as a pilot, you cannot fly because you're not a Lebanese citizen. You know, came to this country and thank God, like, you know, we did. We thought we came to a peaceful life and all that. And all of a sudden this has happened. They took my brother away from us. And I think the justice system in this country should be revived to where there'll be mercy to the victim and to the person who did that. Because I cannot understand these people, how they're gonna live their life after what they did to another human being. I always thought that no matter what you are, you should be treated each other as a human being. And once you don't get treated as a human being, you should just leave these people away from you. And they should be left away from this society because they don't belong to this society. This society, as a human being, we should be treated as one. And I think like justice was not served was what's going on with this court. Because it's not right. Just put them in jail and make taxpayer pay all this money to jail somebody, took somebody else's right to live. And this is all what I said to, like, my brother will have his justice in the day of judgment from God. And that's all what I'm gonna say. And thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I am reading this on behalf of Sayyid Hamidad, one of the nephews of my father, one of the many nephews he had. You are not a man. You are anything but a man. However, you took the life of an amazing man. You took the life of a man that helped immigrants get on their feet. You took the life of a man that helped troubled black youth get reintroduced to society. You took the life of a man that helped the poor and needy so much and always expected so little. You took the life of a father, a brother, a husband, an uncle. You are not a man. You are anything but a man. However, you took the life of an amazing man. I will never understand why God decreed on that day for my uncle, a man with the biggest of hearts, to have his life taken. Maybe it is because he was too good for this world and he had completed his purpose. As a Muslim, I trust in God as the All-Wise. I will never understand why God decreed on that day for a kid who has accomplished absolutely nothing in his life except bring violence and destruction around himself, break the hearts of families, and disappoint and break the heart of his own family, to commit all the same fates one more time. Maybe it is because the only purpose he's ever had is violence and destruction, to which he has no purpose at all. As a Muslim, I trust in God as the All-Wise.
My name is Stephanie, but my dad called me Super Steffi. I was his 5th and final child. Yesterday I sat in the kitchen table in our home and I asked myself what was the impact of this event. What had we lost when my dad left this world? The first memory that came was my own, a typical Saturday in the summer, walking from fruit tree to fruit tree in our garden and watering them, counting to 70 for medium-sized trees and 130 for large ones to make sure they got enough, just like my dad taught me. I must have been 13. I remember hearing the sound of him humming, the sound of car rides and grocery store runs, of sitting on the couch and stuffing kusa on a Sunday, of prayers at dawn and before bed. I remember the days spread across years when we put our fig, pear, peach, and plum trees in the ground one by one. I remember every day and every moment in that space being filled with the steady presence of him. Today, I opened the door to let the cat out, and the emptiness that I still can't get used to was there again. The silence. I miss his voice, so I listen to the birds, and that distraction makes it easier to breathe. But to this day, when I walk through the trees, I don't feel whole. My safe place that my dad grew with his own 2 hands has become a reminder of the nightmare that never ends. The second was not one memory, but many. I know so many stories about my dad, we all do. How he struggled since he was a child and he had to grow up too fast. He had to take care of so many people. My dad was everyone's dad, to the point that on the day we laid him to rest, I remember a phrase I didn't know and the crowd say, "It's like a king has died." After the stories came like floods and I let myself get washed away without focusing on them. Months later, I learned about businesses my dad had helped get started. Friends in the hospital he visited often, making his own fruit baskets from our garden for each of them. People, young and old, who felt like life had cheated them, whom my dad took under his care and protection until they could walk on their own 2 feet again. He was the man that took the time to ask the cashier at H-E-B about her life and encourage her to do something that made her happy, that made her feel safe. I know because I witnessed it. We all bore witness to and were lucky enough to have our lives touched by the greatest person. And he inspired us to carry that kindness forward. The impact of such a man is beyond comprehension. I live my life every day trying to do what I believe he would want me to do, and every day I have to force myself to want to exist in a world where he isn't there. I cannot tell you how this evil has infected our lives, how it has seeped so far beyond us. I am here in front of you today to beg you to let our home be the last one you poison in this life. I am here to beg you to listen to the stories about this incredible man and stare at the gaping hole he left behind. I am asking you to do what you can to fill it with good, just as we will all try to do. The last memory is one that has crippled me and my family for 2.5 years, and I want you to hear what we felt that night. The knock at the door after midnight, 4 police officers with solemn faces. They were asking for my sister. It's regarding your father, they said. I remember the sound of my mother pleading to God, not my husband. Please, God, not my husband. I remember the sound of my brother's scream. I remember my sister's cries through the phone. I remember the voices of my uncles as their grief ripped open one by one. I remember that day and every day after when I hold my phone in my hands and wait for the call that will never come. I remember the weeks after where I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep because I had closed my eyes and I'd pray to see him laughing, to smell his coffee and the sound of the news drifting up to my room. I'd pray for all those things, but to this day when I close my eyes, I so very often see you, Cameron, and I see you, James. I see you standing with a gun pointed at my father as he loads his groceries to come home to us. I watch an event that I was never present for, and I scream as I watch him fall to the ground, his chest ripped open. We, the ones who loved him, were supposed to be there the day my dad took his last breath. Our eyes were supposed to be the last he ever saw. Our voice is the last he heard. I wanted to tell him, I love you, Papa. With everything in me, I love you. Every moment of every day. After a life of taking care of everyone else, we were supposed to take care of him. To hold his hand and pray with him as he left this world. Instead, all he saw was you and your greed. All he saw in his final moments was evil. You ended our lives the day you ended his. You ended the perception that this world is a good place. It is only right that you spend the rest of your days in regret and doing what you can, even from a prison cell, to make this world better. My dad deserves for his legacy to remain true, that every person in this life, every person that his life has touched, become a force of good in his memory. Even you, with whom he spent his last moments, must be held accountable to this truth, that we were all better because of him. That he was the best of us and deserves for us to try to be the best that we can. We have to try. We have to try, Cameron. We have to try, James. Save your soul and the souls of as many people as you can when you do. And when you save them, you remember his name and you say his name. You pray for my father. You pray for Ali Elbanna.
Your Honor, Ali Elbanna.
Thank you.
Look at you, right? Look at you. You're worthless. Time in jail, right? I get to go home. I get to play basketball. I get to go out to clubs with my friends. Where do y'all get to go? Y'all got to report to your cell. Hey, look at them. That's sad, ain't it? It's sad, ain't it? Everybody in here gets to go home and do whatever they want to do. But you guys got to report somewhere. You guys are in this courtroom, and you have no choice but to sit here and look at me and he's smiling. He think he look good with that face tattoo. You think you look good right with that face tattoo. You don't look good. You ain't hard. You gonna be in jail. You gonna be in jail. Look at him. He's smiling. You know, that's worthless right there, bro. Your life over. You can't get no fucking job. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. You can't get no job, right? You ain't got no love life. How you gonna have kids? Bro, your lives are over. It's over. Y'all can't do nothing. You can't do nothing but step in ranks in a prison cell. And whatever you do over there. Y'all can't eat no regular food. I go get whatever. Go get a chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A. Y'all can't do none of that. Y'all's lives is down here. Everybody else gets to be up here because they didn't waste their time taking a man like y'all took from us. That's my dad. I was with him every day, you know, 9 a.m. to 6 a.m. That's my God. That's my God. You know, that's my guy right there, man. That's my guy, man. You know, and I want to be up here strong for my family. You know, it's hard, bro. That was my dad, man. You know, and when I started working with him, you know, I became way closer with him. My sisters had always told me to work with my dad, you know. And then I started going 9 to 6 every day with my dad. And that got me so close. I remember my sisters being jealous of the relationship I had with my dad. I remember coming home from work telling them, oh, Baba does this, Baba does that. Because, you know, my dad is really professional. You know, he lives everything to like a really high Islamic standard. He doesn't do any wrong. He prays to God. He loves everybody, man. You know, my best friend, I just got done playing video games with him last night. His name's Darian. He served time in jail. His uncle Mike, he served time in jail. His other uncle, J-Rock, he served time in jail for armed robbery. And these people, my dad, he gave them a car. He gave them rent money. He gave them weed money. He gave them everything. He literally gave them everything they could have in life. He gave them another chance. Nobody would hire them because they were felons. You know what I'm saying? These are my boys right there. And it's so fucked up, so messed up. I'm sorry, man. I know, I'm getting emotional. I'm sorry. You know? And it's just crazy that you guys just decided to go out and do that, you know? But it's okay, you know? Y'all gonna be rotting, you know? Him over there, he don't look as remorseful. He looks a little remorseful. But that boy right there, he don't look remorseful at all. It's because he knows his life is done. You know, when you know that you're gonna be in prison, for as long as you're gonna be in prison, you ain't got no aspirations, you just live in time moment to moment, and you have to follow a step rule. You technically back in school for the rest of your life, and you can't leave that school. You know, that sucks for them, but it is what it is, you know? And man, that's my dad. That's the guy that literally, you know, there was people that he would give money to in so many different other countries that all the time, you know. I saw people like at least once a month or once every 2 months coming to pay my dad back money because he gave them money to get started. He used to have convenience store owners get stores, and he told them that they didn't have to pay off the bill until they got their stores running. You know, my dad gave so many people opportunities. He put everybody before himself. Everybody before himself, you know? And last thing I want to say is, have fun in prison. It's going to be real fun for you. I'm going to be chilling. I'm going to be playing basketball. I'm going to be going to the club in the weekend. I'm going to be hanging out with my family. We're going to go out to eat. Where do we want to go? Where is everybody going to go out to eat today? Everybody can answer that question except y'all two. Y'all got to be eating somewhere else in prison. That's cool, though. I'm happy. I'm happy that they're in prison. And I wish worse came their way. Thank you.
Your Honor, Miss Mary Elbanna.
My name is Mary. I'm the middle child of the children. I'm going to say this speech. I know, at least on the left, you're not paying attention and you're smiling when my brother's pouring his heart out because he's so in pain because of what you did to our family. And I just wish you would just listen and at least feel some ounce of something, because you're a human being, despite what some might say, and you just have to know that people are hurting. And if you can't even identify with that, like, you know, it's not even prison that you belong in. To the ones who shattered our world with a single shot, I stand before you not as a vessel of vengeance, but as a bearer of the pain you inflicted upon our family. My words tremble with the weight of a daughter's grief, a grief so profound it feels like a bottomless abyss. You robbed me of more than just a father. You stole the very essence of my being. With one senseless act, you shattered the sanctuary of our home, leaving behind shards of broken memories and unfathomable sorrow. My father was not just a name on the news report or a statistic in the crime reports. He was a guiding light in my darkest nights and many, many darkest nights. The people in this courtroom, all the people in this audience, they're here because he was loved, and he loved so many people, and they loved him so much. He taught us to dream, to love, to believe in the goodness of humanity. But with a bullet, you silenced his laughter, extinguished his warmth, and left us in adrift in a sea of anguish. I cannot begin to comprehend the darkness that must reside within you to perpetuate such a heinous act. Yet even in the depths of my despair, I refuse to let your malice consume me or any of us, for we choose to honor our father's memory, not with bitterness, but with resilience and love. Know this, as you face the consequences of your actions. While you may have taken our father from this world, you will never erase his legacy of kindness, compassion, and boundless love. And though your hands may be stained with blood, they will never extinguish the light of his spirit, which will forever shine brightly in all of our hearts. All the people who loved him in this courtroom, who are watching the live stream, who are not just here in the United States, but who are abroad in Lebanon and all over the world. May you find remorse in your solitude and the weight of your deeds. May they haunt you until the end of your days. May you never forget these pictures that you're seeing right here, the man who you took from this world. But even amidst the shadows of your conscience, may you find a glimmer of redemption, a flicker of humanity that compels you to seek forgiveness and atone for the irreparable harm you have caused. You came from a mother just like us, and you have to see the weight of the actions and just feel the simple weight, even through this one day, that the sorrow that is in this room and what you caused. Though your actions have left us broken, we refuse to be defined by the darkness you've unleashed. For we will rise from the ashes of grief, fueled by love and memories of our Father. Someday, I pray you will understand the magnitude of your actions and the profound pain you've inflicted upon our family. Until then, I leave you with the weight of my words, heavy with sorrow, yet buoyed with the undying love and strength of a daughter who will carry your father's memory forever. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, Ms. Ali Elbanna.
My name is Ali Elbanna, and I am the daughter of Ali Elbanna, the man you murdered. Do you see the pictures around you? This is the man whose life you took without a care. Because of you, my father will not get to see me get married. He will not get to see me have kids someday, God willing. Because of you, my father never had the chance to retire and live in peace after working almost every day of his life. Because of you, my mother, who is not here today because she couldn't bear it, she does not get to grow old with her husband or celebrate what would have been their 36th anniversary 1 week ago today. You might think you've lived a hard life and try to justify what you did because you were dealt a hard hand. But don't lie to yourself. You should not be able to live with yourself or the things you've done, especially murdering my father, but there's a long list of things you should not be able to live with. My father had an extremely tough life. He went through things you could never even understand. But my dad made something of himself. What did you do with your life? My father was a Palestinian refugee. He grew up in a country that did not want him. He was the oldest brother of 8. He started working from a very young age and always supported his family. He worked hard so he could come here to the US and work even harder and provide a life for me, my mother, and my 4 siblings. He came from basically nothing, but he built us and those around him a comfortable life. He left a legacy of kindness and charity. But what did you do with your life? The most insane thing is my dad survived actual wars. He survived multiple near-death experiences for things much bigger than you could ever comprehend. He survived all of that only to come to this country for you to shoot him dead in a Costco parking lot. That is absolutely insane to me. But the best thing about my father was his faith. That is what my name Iman means, faith. We are Muslim, we believe in God, and we believe in Judgment Day. So today you stand before a judge, but someday you will stand before the ultimate judge, God, and you will have to answer for what you've done. That is what brings me comfort. So whether it's 60 or 40 years in prison, and which, by the way, I will make sure you serve as much of that time as possible. I will be writing to the parole board, me, all my siblings, all the people you see here today, we will make sure you serve as much of that sentence as possible. But no matter how long you serve, just know that something much worse awaits you. Unless if you repent. You're going to be locked up for a very long time. I suggest you use that time wisely and beg for God's forgiveness, or you will face a fate much worse than a lifetime in prison. But my father, he will see paradise, God willing. And we will join him there someday, God willing. God is the most just, and he will make sure you get what you deserve in this life and in the hereafter. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're on. Ali Elbanna.
My name's Ali Elbanna, and I'm the oldest oldest child of Ali Elbanna. I have been writing this since one of the first meetings we had after my father was murdered. And I learned that we would have this day to present to you. And it was only until about last week that I kind of finally got it to feel right. Life goes on, but part of me will always be stuck in 2021. November 16th, I started to unravel, to become undone. I spend every day actively sewing together the broken pieces of myself. not knowing which ones are me anymore, frantically looking around for help. One single shot fired from the gun, and Baba, you were suddenly ripped from everyone. I spoke to my father nearly every day. He was my dad, my friend, my confidant, my advisor, my best friend, my Baba. If there was ever anything I needed, he was the person to call. If I had had a rough day at work, I called and talked about my day. Or he would tell me jokes about his day and cheer me up, putting a smile on my face no matter how miserable I felt and beat down. I'm a psychiatric nurse for adolescents, and some days are very emotionally draining. But I always knew I could call my dad, my Baba, and he would always answer or call back. The only time he never called back, and I'll remember this for the rest of my life, was the night he was killed. The night my father was shot, at the very moment he was being robbed. And as it all transpired, I was getting ready to leave work. I called him as EMS was on the scene, though I didn't know what was happening at the time. My father couldn't answer my call, which was odd, as my father was one of the most dependable people you would have ever known. Anytime you'd call him, he would answer or call you back soon after. I waited and waited for him to call me back, but no call ever came again. It was around 2 a.m. that night when I knew why he had never answered after I received the gut-wrenching, heart-stopping call that pulled all the air from my lungs when I heard the news that my father was shot and killed in a robbery here in Dallas. I collapsed on the floor, sobbing, fighting for my breath. It's been a bit of a go of it lately, I guess, hasn't it? I try to play things down, but I'm in the thick of it, like I'm tangled up in an overgrown rose bushes, thorn-covered vines. If I don't move too much, don't think too much, I don't feel the pain. But with one wrong gesture, one misguided thought, I'm bleeding again. Tears staining my cheeks to my chest with all that's locked inside it, watering the prickled roses around me with my anguish. I see the beauty all around me, but am unable to get close enough without being reminded of the tangible pain I don't know how to process. This isn't a garden I wanted to grow. Baba, you never prepared me to nurture a garden of grief. As a psychiatric nurse, taking care of adolescent patients, dealing with various psychiatric and mental health issues, the first person after work I would call was my father. He always expressed compassion and kindness towards the kids I took care of, telling me he was so proud of what I did to help these kids. I frequently take care of kids who have had troubled pasts and even dealt with the justice system themselves at times. Without giving any private info out about the kids I care for, my father still got an idea of my job as I told him stories. And he would express that the kids I care for are in the right place to get the help they needed. He frequently told me how glad he was that the kids I care for got help before they did something they couldn't take back. Essentially, before they got to a point of no return. The individuals who approached and murdered my father could have gotten help or accepted the help offered to them prior to their collective actions, November 16th, 2021. The individuals who killed my father reached a point of no return. And even if some of them had issues prior to this point, it does not excuse their collective actions they took that day. My father was a kind, gentle, caring individual whose capacity for compassion was not known at times because he did not boast of his good deeds. You demanded everything from him, then took his life and took everything from us. Yes, everything, because he was everything to us. He was kind, humble, giving, thoughtful, and took care of everyone. He was the rock that kept my family grounded, a provider, confidant, friend, our protector. But no one could protect him from this. No one could protect him from you all and your impulsive, lethal actions. My father did not deserve to be ripped from this life in the traumatic way in which he died. You all escalated to this deadly point, and you all wrote your own fates as you all determined my father's with one fatal shot. Over the nearly 3 years you've been gone, Baba, I find myself wanting to tell more and more people about you and share stories of your life, how you lived it, to keep you alive through my memories. Tales of your kindness, your generosity. Anytime we made extra food, you made trays for the neighbor and would send us over with the food. Details of all the delicious delicacies you made. Practically every Sunday growing up, and when we got older too, Sunday was your guaranteed cooking day. The whole house would be filled with the aromas, the scents lingering beyond the front door, letting passers-by know of the delicious delicacies being prepped inside. No words truly bring to life what it is to feel the pain of the loss of you. The loss of you in our lives. There is no adequate way to articulate the ache of missing you. It's been nearly 3 years now since you were taken from our world in this tragic, horrendous way you went. And while the shock of it comes in waves, still the sting of your absence never goes away. It was about 6:45 in the evening, 2.5 years ago. That was the last time I called you on my way home from work. You didn't answer. You couldn't answer. Though it was only one of you who held the gun, the 4 of you collectively pulled the trigger that night and killed my father, Ali Elbanna. Regardless of the intentions at the beginning of November 16th, 2021, when you 4 set out to rob people, your collective actions resulted in my father's death. And you all not only robbed the other people of their random items, but you all robbed my father of the rest of his life. You all robbed my mother of her husband and best friend of over 37 years. You all robbed my 3 sisters, my brother, and myself of our father, our protector, mentor, friend, our Baba. It's hard to truly put into words the magnitude of impact he had on our family's life because he touched so many aspects of our everyday life, and his absence leaves a hole that will never be filled. His absence causes a pain that will never go away. Every day, I'm reminded of my father in little moments, and still now, nearly 3 years later, I find myself reaching to call my father, only to be crushed with the reminder that his voice only lives on in my memory, and the occasional video I'm lucky to find. There are times, if I can't get a hold of someone, I automatically think that something must have happened to them, because the night my father died, I called him while he was dying, and I never heard from him again. Every day, I'm either reminded of my father, and a smile comes to my face with his beautiful memory, or a torturous moment hits me in my bones, and I'm crushed with the agony of him being gone. My father walked every day of his life with us with strength, kindness, generosity, and love, and he was incredibly giving and caring. He was also playful and charismatic and could tell stories that would command the attention of an entire room of people. I am so deeply saddened that he was killed mere months before my wedding and will never have the chance to meet his first grandson. He had such a youthful presence, and when playing with children, he would make them laugh and giggle. It breaks my heart that my son will never know his deep belly laugh that ignited your soul with pure joy, or fall for one of his pranks. Every day I go on and try to embody characteristics of my father in different ways. Tell my son stories of his grandfather. Cook meals he taught us since we were young, just so he has glimpses into the man he'll never get a chance to know. There are moments I get lost in a memory. I try to find my way there, where I can still feel your bellowing belly laugh erupt in an explosion of contagious joy in my heart, as if you're still here with me to nurture this garden of grief you've planted with all of the tangible memories you left behind. An eternity of life lived cut short, I replay daily. My father was just seemingly collateral damage to you all on your rampage, and his life was the last thing you took. The way you all fled the scene while my father was left to die, and how you all were discovered after the fact, is disgusting and makes me nauseated. And this fact haunts my mind and sickens me. The traumatic loss of my father, his murder, the never-ending grief of his death, causes profound PTSD, anxiety, and depression. I experience nightmares surrounding the gruesome way in which my father died that wake me up in tears and fear that someone might be there to kill my family. I'm constantly alert and hypervigilant. That never stops, and I don't see how it will ever stop. My father's murder adds validity to the idea that anything can happen anywhere and that there are bad people everywhere. I'm always looking over my shoulder, always watching for someone when I'm walking my dogs, worried that someone will rob and shoot me. I have flashbacks of what has been detailed to us about the scene of his death that strike me out of nowhere, even when I'm just going about my daily life, that stop me in my tracks and bring me to tears as I visually live through what my father died through. I'm filled with so much sadness and mental anguish for the way my dad's life traumatically ended. A man full of life, having his life struck down and left to die with one split-second decision. I can't shake the visual my brain put together of my father in those final moments. And I don't know that I'll ever get those images out of my mind. Baba, I hadn't realized how intricately I'd woven you into my stitching. With your removal, it's leaving my body gaping. I'm losing sight of who I was, who I am, and who I thought I was supposed to be. Because without seeing myself through your eyes, it's like I cannot see. Fragments remain of myself with no glue to hold them. The only binding properties are sadness, anger, and compensatorily feeling numb. But life goes on since November 16th, 2021. I just haven't quite figured out how to stop coming undone. As more details came out about the individuals responsible, seeing that it was a 16-year-old, 17-year-old, 17-year-old, 19-year-old, it was jarring. And that you all had been out together on a robbery spree that resulted in my father's murder. I was filled with so much anger and rage initially. This anger has transitioned into more of a pain that will never go away. And it is all because of the choice you all made to rip my father's life from this earth. You all must know I will never have your name spoken out of my mouth because you all don't even deserve that ounce of respect to have your names passed through my lips. And know this too, not a single one of you four will ever have my forgiveness. Not even on the day I take my dying breath. No outcome in the judicial system will bring my father back. My father's blood stains your hands, and that will never change. You can't take this back. That is the truth that you can never deny. My father's murder is something you will never be able to wash yourselves clean from. I may not remember the first time you held me, Baba, or told me you loved me, but I will never forget the last time I held you and told you, love you, Baba. I'll hold on tight to this memory as it replays over in my mind. It's stored in my muscles, reminding me what it is to feel you here. I feel my arms around you. I feel my muscles embrace you, your warmth. Then it's all pulled away as reality twists on the strings of my heart, winding up, never releasing the tension, sending chills to my spine where the warmth of your love will never be felt with me again. My heart stays wound tight. The torture of missing you, Baba, won't release its grip on me. Sometimes there's delicate whispers of you with your memory. Always present are the agonizing aches of your absence. I'm learning this garden of grief you've planted as you were laid to rest under the tree at the cemetery started with flocks of mourners crowding you with their goodbyes. Goodbyes that I'll never be able to say. Goodbyes that I never got to say.
Hello again, this is Stephanie Elbanna. I'm reading on behalf of my mother, Stephanie Elbanna, who cannot be here today because it was too painful. I'm only half here in this world. The other half of me, my better half, is in paradise. The seconds are long without my beloved husband, Ali. The moments are an eternity. I await the time I can be with my beloved in paradise. Sincerely, Mrs. Ali Elbanna, wife and mother of our 5 beautiful children. Atadal Mary Ali Elbanna. Iman Ali Elbanna. Mary Jean Ali Elbanna. And our beloved twins, Sayyid Ali Elbanna. And me, Stephanie Janine Ali Elbanna. To the greatest son, brother, uncle, cousin, friend, husband, and father that anyone could ever know, we will miss you every second of every day until we are together again. And to the people who took him from us, may you remember our faces and the stories we gave you of this remarkable person. There will never be a brighter light in this world. The darkness that remains is evidence that he's not with us any longer. And for every day that we are plunged into that darkness, know that it was your choices that brought us here. You have broken our hearts and shattered our lives forever. All the good that he did and all the good he would have done is undone because of you.
That's all.
Okay. I wanted to say something to the two defendants that are in here. And really all I have to say is this, and I usually don't wait until the victim impact is done to make the statements that I need to make. And one of the things that I just want the both of you to be mindful of, and when I heard it was going to be the number of people that were speaking from the family, I thought I would wait. I just want you all to know that there are consequences to any action you take. Positive consequences and negative consequences. This happens to be one that's on that far side of the negative consequences. But I also want you to understand that when an action is taken against an individual, like Mr. Elbanna, that is no longer with us, it affects a lot of people. These are just a few of the folks that your actions now have affected for the rest of their lives. You'll never come back. You all will never get this time back that you have spent in jail and the time that's going forward. So I just want you all to be mindful of that and try to see if you can grow, learn, be the person that Mr. Elbanna was, at least to the extent that you can, when it comes to the rest of your life. So good luck to both of you. That concludes this hearing.
Yeah, no, yeah, watch on. You have to see that. No Alpha, no Alpha. All right. Thank you.